So tell me how you got involved, you and Daniel started working with
Yeah, at the time, Dan also had the same manager as Neil, Elliot Roberts, and so me and Dan had made a record called Black Dub, which
him.
was filmed. The record is filmed live as we were playing it, and so that way the recording and the film all lines up. It's not cut together; it's one piece, and they're like filmed pieces. And so each song we did exactly that way. And so Elliot had showed these to Neil, and Neil really thought he really liked it. And he goes, "Why can't I have a record like that?" And so Neil and Daniel Lanois started talking, and they agreed for Neil to come down to Dan's house in Silver Lake, to a house called Bella Vista. And so I had set up a rig in the hallway of Dan's house. He had a full studio in the basement with a Neve 8068, but I didn't like the vibe in the basement. It was like a dungeon. And so he's got a beautiful living room and a beautiful hallway. So I just set up my rig in his hallway. And so uh, like I was telling you before about how my sound system works, I use a playback system that's got like big 18-inch subwoofers, and it's got like multiple speakers towering. And so when you play back, stuff sounds bigger than real. So then it really happens and exciting, and it makes the artist happy, and they really dig it. So when Neil decided to come down, we had tested all Dan's mics, and I got everything all lined up and which guitars we could use and amps, and we picked the best of everything. And so we did all of our kind of like homework before he got in. And so it'd be like, oh, Neil's coming in tomorrow at noon, and we're there waiting, and Neil don't show up that day. And then it's like he's coming in tomorrow, staying at the Beverly Hills hotel. And so yeah, all right, and doesn't show up the next day either. Like, God, what's going on? So he finally shows up on the third day, and he rolls in there. But before that, he had sent one of his uh, techs with a van with all of his instruments and pump organ and a bunch of other all of his amplifiers and stuff like that, guitars. And so when Neil eventually got there, he explained that he was waiting for the full moon. He claims that he can't work only on 3 days before the full moon. So he was waiting for that 3 days before the full moon so he can start recording. Because claims if you record before that or after that, that you're not going to get as good as a performance or a vibe.
Is that how he's done his career, or was
I
that
don't
specific for
know, but
this?
that was for this
Wow.
particular record. He really wanted to push that. And so, the record took 6 months to make because we're waiting for all the full moons. And so eventually, once he came in, we started working, and it got to a point where Neil he had some songs meant to be acoustic record, and
Mm.
so I developed the sound. I thought, how the hell am I gonna better his guitar sound? I'm a big fan of.
Using the old black guitar,
He's got
Gretsch.
well, the acoustic end of it,
Oh,
like,
acoustic.
and so this is supposed to be an acoustic record, just filmed each song on acoustics and stuff like that. But he had also brought what uh, a rec to Les Paul, a '57 Les Paul Gold Top that he's painted black, and so
So that's what he used on
that
Hey Hey My,
yes,
and
yeah, yeah.
that that's that's
It's the classic,
yeah.
yeah. And then he's got this other guitar that it's a white Falcon Gretsch, and
Mhm.
it's a special guitar because it's a twin stereo output. So the top three strings come out of one pickup, and the bottom three strings come out of another pickup. So you split that into two amps, and so you have to play it a certain way.
Mm.
And so he plays like like a crazy like da-da, ba-da, ba-da, da-da. So it's like a very stereo
Mhm.
spread if you listen to that record.
Very psychedelic.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And so so we started with the acoustics, and he had his acoustic there, and he called it Hank, and it used
Hmm.
Hank
Yeah.
Williams guitar. And but Dan had a little guild, little mahogany guild, and I tested every pickup known to man, and I came up with LR bags. So I put the LR bags in that, and then so I mic'd it, and then I ran a DI of it, so I had a direct signal at the same time, and so we had Neil set up in this big, beautiful living room, and so it just and I was in the hallway, and but as we were checking the guitars, I had a couple of effects that I had on it. So when Neil would hit the low string of the guitar, it would trigger this sub harmonizer that I had, and it would just shake the house like an earthquake. It's like, what the hell is this? So he'd never
Wow.
felt that off an acoustic before. So I thought, okay, this is good. He had a big smile. He really liked it, and so we ended up cutting "Love and War." I think the
Yeah.
song was in. If you listen to that, it's like in headphones. It's just got the sub. It's
It's an
so
incredible, dense
warm and
record.
dreamy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's
and
unlike anything that he'd
yeah,
ever done.
yeah. And so I was excited, and
Yeah.
I created a sound for him that he'd never heard before and never, never felt. And because I play and I got the speakers on, and it gives you that kind of fulfillment that you're live and you're on a stage and stuff like that. So I think that part of it really worked well for that. And then so we'd cut. I think there was another song called Peaceful Valley something on that record. That was an acoustic song, and so that one, the low frequency didn't work as well as Love and More. And so we cut those two, and he went away. We waited for the next full moon, and on the next full moon, he comes back.
Did you know you're waiting, or was that
Yeah.
implicit? Did
Oh
he
yeah.
tell you, or was
Oh
it
yeah. Yeah.
implicit?
We were told
Yeah.
that
Okay.
we were waiting for these
Yeah.
full moons. So he comes back, and so then he's got the two electrics with him, and he says, "I want to try walk with me
Mhm.
with this Les Paul." And so we set up two tweed amps, and he's got this special treatment on his amps where a tweed amp has tubes in it, and what happens is the tube amps heat up, and then your tone goes away because it's too hot. So he has these fans blowing cool air on the tubes,
Mm.
keep the amp cool as possible to keep the tone there all the time. And uh, so he pulls out the guitar, and I'm just, it's the same faders, everything. That's kind of it's only like two channels or three channels or whatever, and then I got my effects coming back on another console, and so I got the speakers kind of turned up pretty loud, and then he hits that chord on that guitar, and it just blew his mind. His pant legs were swaying. The house was also shaking, and we had to tape all the windows down. It was pretty serious
I bet
sound.
he loved that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that became kind of like a bit of the sound. It was also another treatment that I did on that record, and it's something that I spend a lot of time in Jamaica, and I do a lot of dub work. So I've got a lot of dubs on that record where, hey, 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 like these like real strange psychedelic
Mhm.
sounds, and they're all done by this old lexicon delay that's got a touch hold on it. And so I kind of developed the style the way I use it, and I can like hold words or sounds, or and then but you can lower them. So it's like I'm just doing all this stuff on the fly
Yeah.
as he's playing, and he's like, "Bro, what the hell is this sound?" It's like, and so he was pretty excited about it, and so we had cut, a couple of those ones with that guitar, and we did. Then he brought out the oh boy, no, the White Falcon,
Mm.
and so I split the pickup and went into it, and then I think that was the one that he may have played "Walk with Me" on.